What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, my top play was the Storm. Got them -6.5 early. Didn't really matter what number you got. I think they closed 11 or something like that, but it was a blowout. Whatever your number you got was good. The two smaller plays, which did make it a losing day, were the props. Ari over 4.5 assists. She had two in the first quarter, and then they didn't put her back in. And like she played 7 minutes in the first half. For whatever reason, they decided to play Sid. Well, Sid was playing her old team, so maybe they wanted to give her a little extra burn. But that's why they were losing at the end of the first half. And then Ari got her minutes in the second half, and they ended up winning. So that was bad. And Rakia Jackson just didn't show up for real. So probably gonna leave the props alone. I tweeted that out yesterday. I'm not happy with how the props has gone lately. Vino, good to be back with you. Hopefully, you did a little bit better than 1 and 2 yesterday.
Yeah, we had a nice day yesterday, Skee. 2-0, but that counts the Canadian Football League where we had the game under between Montreal and Toronto. No, not Toronto. I can't even remember now. But the Montreal game under 49 landed on 44. Calgary actually was the opponent there. But WNBA, I had the first half. Sparks, Connecticut Sun over 82, got over fairly easily in that game. Everybody scored. So, yeah, Connecticut's learning how to score points now, which helps because their defense is so bad that most of these things can end up getting over now until the odds makers adjust. And the Sparks, just talking to you off air right before we came on, Skee, a little bit. And that offense is crazy good right now. They just, like we said yesterday, they're going to try and outscore you. Yesterday they did. They pulled away in the end, another 100-plus point performance for them. So good day and all, and hopefully repeat that here today.
Let's try to do it again here today. Appreciate y'all. Just Josh reminding everybody to hit the like button. Definitely helps out the show. And then I am Destro reposting the stream on X. Appreciate that too. Help some other people maybe see what they're missing out on over here. All right. 3 games again, Rob Veno. We're going rotation order like we always do. That means first up is 601, 602. Aces and Lynx opened up -10.5 for Minnesota. It has come down. We're seeing 9.5 as a consensus number, even a 9 over at one book. Total open 157.5, and we've seen that all the way up to 163. As far as the injury report, same two usual suspects for both teams. Griffin and Cheyenne Parker Tyus, both are going to be out for this one. The Aces did play last night. They lost to the Fever. And the Lynx, let's see, the last time they come in with 2 days of rest. They beat up on Chicago in their first game out the break. Um, Man, Vino, I'll say first thing that comes to my mind is the Lynx. I mean, they had a lot of people over at All Star. I know they came out and smashed on Chicago, but I mean, it's players on the Lynx doing other things, and we've seen too, like coming out of the break, being at a rest disadvantage is not really a disadvantage. You just had a super long rest. You know what I'm saying? We saw it from the Dream. I think we've seen it from a few teams so far, and the Aces coming off of a loss. I believe they are either at 500 now. Yeah, I think they're at 500 now. So they're motivated to try to get a win here. I can't help but think the Aces are competitive. The Lynx have been a team that sometimes take a little bit to get going. Usually in the third quarter, they start to get things together. Maybe they make adjustments or whatever it may be. But the Aces, they've been a team who's started out hot. So I think the Aces early and often in this game, Ravino. I agree with the market with it coming down. Are you looking at the side or are you looking more at the total?
You know, in Aces games, I would generally look toward the total and the fact that they shot so poorly from three last night. You know how I am. I usually think that there will be some type of bounce back, positive in this case, positive regression to what the Aces usually shoot from three. they both played really good defense as of late, and I think you hit on a point here where Minnesota, playing great defense against Chicago, not that big of a deal. Playing great defense against a banged up Phoenix team that didn't have Sabali, didn't have Copper, etc., and then playing good defense the game before again against Chicago. I don't know what we make of those. Can Las Vegas dent this defense? Maybe they can. But for the Aces, where side is concerned, I'm starting to believe that they can be just treated as what we say in the business, like a yo-yo team. If they lose, just bet them to win the next game. Lose, win, lose, win. It seems like every time they do something good, Skee, and you get behind them, they do something bad. Then you think, well, they're not that good, and they do something good. They've had that pattern all season long. So getting 9.5 to me is kind of appealing. Full game with Las Vegas here. I think that, recently they've shown the ability to stop some teams. They had a good second half defensive effort against Atlanta the other night. Granted that Atlanta didn't have Ryan Howard, but Atlanta bounced back the very next night against Phoenix and scored a ton of points. So their offense certainly is still capable. I like that. Last night, pretty solid defensive game against Indiana. I think if I had to play it, and I didn't, because this one is probably the toughest on the schedule for me, but if I had to play it, I think I would be taking 9.5 with Las Vegas. Even in a losing effort, they probably come closer than that. And we mentioned this earlier this week. It's crunch time to start stacking some wins if you want to make the playoffs. And the Aces are in that position where they got to have wins. So I'd expect a big effort out of them, even though it's a back-to-back travel situation. It's not that far, Indiana to Minnesota. I'd probably look towards plus 9.5.
All right, so we're in agreement there. There's some questions saying maybe Jackie Young might sit out tonight, or asking if she'll be out. Any chance? I mean, it's a chance for anybody to be out on the second of a back-to-back. She is already banged up, but I mean, I kind of agree with Casey's comment here. Says I think if they won, she would have probably sat. But after losing, I think you're gonna play. You don't have the luxury to rest right now, and I agree with that comment. All right, let's keep it going here. Next on the list, Mercury and Liberty, I believe here. 603, 604 opened up -5.5 for New York. See either 6 or 6.5, depending where you shop. Total open 169.5, and it keeps bouncing around. It's all over. I see a 171. I see a 170, 170.5. So make sure you line shop, depending which way you like the game. As far as the injury report, I don't see anybody on there for Phoenix. For the Liberty, they won't get Emma Mieseman yet. They will be without Nayara Sabali. This is a chance for the Liberty to come and get a little bit of, well, not a little bit, a chance for them to get double revenge after losing to the Mercury twice so far this season. I'll start off with this, Vino. Kyle Wright says 170 total is wild. The Liberty's offenses look really good. 2 games in a row, they've come, a bucket away from scoring 100 points. They got John Quill Jones back, added another shooter. Everybody out on the court can shoot now. Remember we talked about that a little while ago, and when she was out and Fevich was out, they didn't have that anymore. So now they're getting back to, what makes their offense look great. For Phoenix, when I look at the starting lineup, they don't really have a true center. Like, I feel like with the lineup they're throwing out there, it's got to be more up-tempo run and gun. Especially, you don't want to face a set New York Liberty defense time and time again. So I can understand why the total is high here. I'm curious if you agree. If you agree with it being that high, you think there's some room to still get over? And also, do you think the Liberty get some revenge here?
What's interesting about the Liberty, Skee, is they haven't been away from home all month. It's their 7th straight home game. Talk about being comfortable. Just say they've scored 98 in back-to-back games. Both were against Indiana, but they've been home since July the 3rd. Phoenix is on a travel situation. But to answer your question directly, I played this thing right away, and it was fairly simple for me to play up and over the total. I got 170. It's now 170 and a half. Give you the reasons why. You hit on it. Everybody's healthy here. Even Akoa Makani's back from concussion protocol. So Phoenix's rotational depth extends about 8 or 9 deep with quality right now with everybody back. And New York, the same thing. Sabali is out, which hurts them as far as backup center is concerned. Not so sure that it'll matter much where their point scoring is concerned here tonight. Phoenix 2-0. Those two games, Skee, the final posted total, the closing number on those games were 164 and 166 and a half. Both of those games were injury laden. Each side had key components out in those games that closed 164, 166 and a half. They landed 170 and 197. For New York, you didn't have Phoebus in the first game, and that was the game where Jonquel Jones re-injured her ankle. She played like 8 minutes and left the game. Phoenix won that one in New York, 89-81, 170. Then 8 days later, they played back in Phoenix. Phoenix scored 106, 106-91. So much like I'm kind of using the same premise that I used for New York, Indiana the other day. 2 games played, 2 games over. Here's same scenario, 2 games played, 2 games over. These are the number 1 and number 3 pace teams in the league. As you mentioned, Phoenix, much more suited to run with their lineup. And they're the number 1 and 2 teams in 3-point makes per game. You said it earlier. I'll just say it again. When all 5 Liberty starters are on the floor, all 5 can shoot to 3. Phoenix kind of the same way. A lot of shooters on that team. So all this stuff starts adding up to a bunch of offense. And then I'll add in Sabrina Ionescu. If there's anybody who wants to come up big in this game, the 2 games against Phoenix, when they needed her, because they didn't have Jones, because they didn't have Phoebus, she goes 5 for 25 from the floor combined, only 20%, and 2 of 12 from 3. Brianna Stewart did a lot of heavy lifting in those 2 games for them. The starting front court, even though it was outmatched because Phoebus and Jones weren't there, they still managed to score 43 and 35 points in those 2 games. And my potential points number, both of those games, Skee, they had the chance to get to 375 if everything went through the hoop. That's high. It's about 18 points higher than league average. To me, everybody's back now. They've shown that without key pieces, they can get to 170. So why not with them? And especially the way New York is on a roll offensively. And last thing I'll add is it seems to me, I'm trying to think of the instance where we saw this. I guess it could be Atlanta, a team that came out, and maybe Atlanta's not a good example, but worked new pieces into the lineup, which Phoenix did in their first game back. Didn't go so well. There was minute restrictions on Sabali, minutes restriction on Copper. Lexi Held came back as well. But now the second game with everybody back, even though it's a travel situation, I think they'll be better offensively here. A lot of pace, a lot of 3-point shooters. Series history this year tells us these games go over. I think 170 is very doable.
I do too. And I think, like you said, that Mercury offense was out of rhythm in that first game there. I think they should look a little bit better here tonight. Mercury have failed to clear 80 points in about 4+ games. I do think they get there tonight, though. And another thing, we did Jamrock Kicks mentioned here, but yeah, first of a back-to-back for the Liberty. Less defense, he's asking. I would agree. I mean, and in general, they don't need to come out and cover or win by big margin. They'll be happy just getting away with the win and moving on to tomorrow too. So I do agree. Less defense, first of a back-to-back, and also just don't think they have a whole lot of motivation to win by margin. So I like Mercury and I like over in this one, Rob Veno. All right, one more up there for today. Looks like Wings and Valkyries. This one opened up -5.5 for Golden State. They're now down to 4. Total open 163, and not a whole lot of movement there. As far as who's available, no Maisha Hines Allen and Maddie Seegers still out for the Wings. Maria C., Kayla Thornton, both out for the Valkyries. And This is the Valkyries' first game since the break. So they've had quite a bit off. I think they've had 8 days off since their last game. The Valkyries weren't playing their best basketball heading into the break. I want to say they lost 3 of their last 4 games. And in general, the Valkyrie have been really great as underdogs. I don't know how much we want them as favorites. For the Wings, they're in a little bit better rhythm right now. They're not rusty. They just played a game as an underdog and won outright. So that shows they're a little bit better than what the where the market thinks they're at right now. And I mean, Paige and Enrique. I mean, as much as I talk about them, Enrique, I do think they both can do enough to keep this one close, if not win the game. So I think it's too much rest for Golden State here. We don't lay with this team. Dallas Wings are the right side, in my opinion. What do you think, Vino?
Yeah, Dallas said a lot of the right things coming out of the break, and then they went ahead. Now, granted, Skylar Diggins didn't play, and that second half offense looked atrocious. Not that the first half didn't. I mean, the first half, Dallas didn't play any offense either. But the second half was all Dallas all the time. How much we can take from that as far as Dallas defense is concerned, I'm not so sure. We always kind of land on the opinion that Dallas's defense is ass. And until proven otherwise, I don't know how much we could take from that game, but they did play better. The first thing that jumps out at me is Golden State first half has just been an absolute moneymaker, 16-4-1 against the spread first half. And like you said, Skee, which does make a little bit of a difference here, a lot of that done as an underdog, whether it be short price underdog, large price underdog. A lot of it's been done as an underdog. And can they win a first half straight up? But I tell you, even though they weren't winning games prior to the break, they're 3-1-1 straight up first half, last 5. So it seems like they're a first half team. The problem you run into with that bet is exactly what you said. It's the age old question. Are they going to be rusty coming out of the gate, or are they going to be rested? We don't know. Until the halftime score is there, we really don't know. So there's guesswork involved. But 16-4-1 is a very, very strong number. And especially we know about this team at home. On a Friday night, the crowd is probably going to be huge, and it'll help them a little bit. We'll see if Dallas can avoid turnover problems. It's their biggest, I think, in their case, the biggest problem that team has still is turnovers. They rebound like crazy. I'm trying to check here. I noted these rebound numbers the other night against Seattle. Yeah, 48-34 rebound advantage, plus 14 on the boards for the Wings, who constantly get a ton of field goal attempts in their games. Shot it 71 times against Seattle. Seattle shot it 75 times. That's a lot of chances at the rim. Neither team shot well, so it didn't get over the number. Here, I'm kind of torn again. I'd like to believe in Dallas second half and maybe get behind them before the odds makers catch up if they're going to be better. But I'm not so sure that I could play against Golden State at home here. Again, that rest thing really is difficult coming out of the break. Golden State didn't have, trying to think here, they didn't have a bunch of participants during All-Star break. So it could have been more of practice rather than party in their case, which would help. I didn't play. I'd like to lean under, tell you the truth. If I have any opinion at all, if I could say that, right, any opinion at all, it would probably be under the total in this game, because Golden State, if nothing else, they can lean on their defense. And Dallas, if what we saw the other night has any truth to it, shutting Seattle down, then it should be an under.
All right, Vino, looking a little bit more at the total. I will be looking at the side there. And that's 3 games for today. We did a pretty good time, a little bit under 20 minutes. Now, actually, before we get to best bets, let's go ahead and throw this back up there. Well, I got to watch out for Casey, so I got to watch what I say. But yeah, you can get both Rob's WNBA season and my WNBA season for just about $3 a day. I think that's what it comes down to with this deal. So if you want to rock with both of us, WNBA goes all the way through or until I think mid-October. So it's a way to roll with us through the entire summer, pretty much, because I'm not touching baseball. I'm letting you know right now. Vino, I don't know if the baseball will ever get you. Maybe in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
that regular season, I think I'm hanging it up. Is there anything else you would like to promote? And if you have a best bet for the show, we would love to hear it. If you don't, it's okay because I'm giving plenty today.
I would say, real quick, it was funny how quick Ronald, you capper, came out the other day to disagree with the comment of how you and he look alike with you in that photo. It's not close. I'm on your side, Ronald. I don't know where that comparison comes into play. Let's get right to best bet here, Skee, because it was easy for me this morning to make the play. It's easy to give it as a best bet here. I do think New York and Phoenix get over the total. The two are designed. The matchup is just designed to breed points in this case. So they've shown you that they can get to 170 and 197 already without every starting player on the floor. And now they have everybody back rotationally, like I say, except for Sabali. Everybody's there. Pace will be there. I think the shooting will be there. Give me over 170 and a half tonight in the Mercury Liberty game as the best bet for today.
I like that too. And yeah, I'm gonna share all of my plays here today, or at least the ones that I've made so far. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna join on that with Rob Veno. Um, I like the Aces first half plus 5.5, Aces plus 10.5 on the game. I like the Mercury plus 6.5. Like I said, I like the over in that game, and I like the Wings plus 4.5. I think they can even win the game outright. So that's what I'm looking at as my card for today. I said on Twitter I was going to give it out on the show. I'm a man of my word. And if you guys make some money, you guys know where to come find me and find some more winners tomorrow. Good stuff here, Vino. End of the week. It's been great doing these shows and rocking with you. We'll start back again. I'm not sure if we have games on Monday, but if we do, we'll be right back here with you guys. And if we don't, then we'll be right back on Tuesday. Best of luck to everybody. Um, Let me shout out the chat actually. It was a lot of good people, a lot of usual suspects, but Kyle Wright, B Man dropping dimes, Titan CT, a lot of the usual suspects. Jamrock Kicks, we appreciate all of you tuning in. You guys all help make the show what it is. And people out there on Kick, X, Twitch, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Shorts, whatever it may be, we appreciate you guys supporting the show as well. So, like I said, best of luck this weekend. We'll catch you again next week.